Jessiah, welcome to what maybe I'm calling Bayswatch. I don't know if this is a real thing or not.
Nice.
But it's fun. I'm Yash Brodsky. You are?
Jessiah Mellot.
Jessiah Mellot. Welcome. As Bayswatch, I want to talk to interesting rats in the area.
Sure.
And you are here with Please Don't Kill Us.
I am, yeah. I'm one of the, what are we calling ourselves? Fellows. I'm a fellow.
Yeah. Were you making videos every day?
Yes.
Briefly, how's it been so far?
I mean, unbelievable in a million ways. It's, we're on day 20, I think, and everybody's already kind of mourning the end coming up, but every day is better than last year. And that's not for the podcast. I'm just incredibly happy here. Yeah, this is a special place for sure.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I want to talk to you about the podcast you did, but before that, are you a rationalist? What's your rat background here?
I keep saying rationalist adjacent, and I think my general philosophy is if you've studied existentialism, you might call yourself an existentialist, or you might just be this is something I think about a lot. That's how I feel about rationality. I'm I want to be on less wrong. I want to read the sequences. I want to read HPMOR and get good things from them. And then, I think calling myself a rationalist would be if I was in the community, which I am trying to be. I'm hoping to be more so. But yeah, I guess I'm rationalist adjacent. So the short answer is I was teaching at an IB international school in China in 2017, 2018.
What's IB?
International Baccalaureate. So it's the hardest high school curriculum there is.
Okay.
Along with A-levels. And part of the curriculum is a class called Theory of Knowledge. So I was an English literature teacher, and they needed Theory of Knowledge teachers. And so I was I don't know what that is exactly. I hadn't taken any epistemology courses or anything, but I said, yeah, I'd love to teach something like that. And so I did, and I loved it. And in the process, I don't know at what point, but I came across HPMOR, and I think it was just finishing, and I heard about the rap parties and around the world and all this stuff, and I was wow, this is a trip. And it couldn't be more up my alley in terms of Harry Potter addict growing up. English literature teacher, obviously I was deep in it, and then I was teaching TOK, and just somebody, I think a lot of people here, just wants to be a good quality thinker. I hate being unclear, I hate being wrong, and I hate being misunderstood. So anything I can do to be more precise, both in my language and in my thinking, obviously I'm going to be into that. So yeah, I don't remember how long it took me to get hooked on HPMOR, but it was quick. It was quick.
How long did it take you to read through it all?
Oh God, I don't remember. Probably pretty short. I think I was probably, maybe there were a couple false starts leading up to the Azkaban arc, but then once you get there, it's just well, I'm not going to stop doing this. This is, I gotta, when I read the final Harry Potter book, for some reason I didn't get it at midnight like all the other books, but I got it the next day. I think it was at an Ultimate Frisbee tournament, which is a separate thing. So at the end of the day, it was 3 p.m. My dad gets me the book, and I'm freaking out. So I start reading. I finish at 6 a.m. the next day, and I'm crying and exhausted. But that's the kind of Harry Potter addict I am. So reading HPMOR, I think I got deep into it. I couldn't tell you, but it was fast for sure. I've read it at least twice, and then I've listened to your podcast version probably once a year for 5 or 6 years.
Holy shit.
So
okay.
Yeah, I've listened to it a lot through. It's definitely my comfort podcast.
What do you think of Eliezer's statement? He says, if you aren't into it by chapter 10, just leave because it's not for you. I personally kind of think you can make that decision by chapter 5, but I don't know. What do you think?
I'd have to look at the chapter list. Yeah, I think that's safe. The chapters aren't that long, so 10 seems fair. I've read plenty of negative reviews of it for my video essay, and then just in general, I'm always fascinated by a thing that I love that people don't. And it's my own blind spot on humanity, and I'm well, something in the human existence or the human experience is not matching up with my reality, so what is the problem? And so I read a lot of them, and I get it. I think they're fair critiques. I love a hero's journey, and I love like a boy genius.
Mm-hmm.
So the issues that people tend to have, which I talk about in my video, Harry's arrogance, which is mapped onto Eliezer, and it's like, yeah, so so it's fine. Yeah, he's arrogant.
That's part of the point.
Yes, I think so.
All right, let's jump into the video then, because you did a video essay on Harry Potter and Methods of Rationality, and what was it? Why you should watch it, or?
That was kind of the initial premise, and then, you know, I wanted to do something that was more video essay-ish rather than just like a straightforward review. So it became my way of exploring, you know, showing up here. And I was like, all right, so I need to explore further what the rationality community is, who Eliezer is, and like, again, I'm fascinated with how can I love something so much, and then there's just people out in the world who are just absolutely stonewalled by it or hate it, or like Sneer Club. I think the subreddit Sneer Club is like, I can't imagine dedicating time to hating another group enough that you're on a subreddit about it, and like, but why? How is that happening? Yes, why are they doing this, and what am I missing? And I do understand better for having done it, I think, but yeah, it kind of went from there. That's what the video became.
Wow. Okay, so all of a sudden this sounds like this was one of your first videos. Have you been working on this for a long time to put all this together?
That video? No.
Well, not the video, but like it sounds like you just found out about Sneer Club while you were researching for the video?
No, I knew about Sneer Club for years. I wasn't spending a lot of time looking at them, but I did, you know, again, anything that I get into, I'm like, what's the count? Anything that I get into in the way that, you know, rationality as a community is famously seductive. And so, like, I don't want to be seduced. I want to be rational.
I find that a very interesting statement, because it seems to me almost the opposite. Like, rationality as a community is incredibly cringe for almost everybody. And like, the few people, in my opinion, who find it and get seduced, I don't even know if seduced is the right word. It's like, I fell in love with it because it was like, it was me, it was my people, it was how I want to live my life and how my brain works. And I guess that is seductive in a way, but like in the way of like when you find your home is seductive, you know? So I kind of think like the exact opposite, that it is incredibly cringe, and then just every now and then the people who it's just right for find it, and then their lives are amazing.
It might say something about me. I'm maybe more like normie coded than the typical rationalist, and I have kind of a deep interest in, part of it is just being a teacher. Like, I want to be able to communicate with everybody. But yeah, I don't like, I dress very plain. I don't want to be somebody where people go, oh, I know who this guy is, right? And I really resent that sort of thinking. I want to be understood in a three-dimensional way. And so getting into any belief system like rationality, I'm just very cautious and very much like, how is this going to affect how people can engage with me, I guess. So I don't know if that's a good answer, but I'm always skeptical and careful in that way.
Did your research assuage any of those skepticism, any of those concerns?
Not as much as being here. And I'm sure if this was listened to by a bunch of people, I could see a bunch of people at home being like, oh yeah, he got to the cult and then the cult got him. No, just I say it in the video, but like, I'm not interested in who's right and wrong as much. Obviously, I'm looking for truth and rightness, but we don't know. We like, you know, everything that you, and this place is great for that. Like, everything's a probability. So I'm very careful about what I believe. And coming here relentlessly over and over again, I've seen the people operating here are operating in good faith. That's what I care about. And they really are. Doesn't mean they don't make mistakes, but they hold themselves accountable. They're trying really hard to watch for their mistakes, and they're also trying to treat people well. And like, they actively chose this group of people, there's about 60 of us, to be across the political spectrum and around the world, and like, they really nailed that in a way that just about any group I can think of wouldn't be able to pull off. So that's made me feel a lot better. And, you know, it's not like I was actively showing up being like, I don't like these rationalists or Eliezer, I just really like his Harry Potter fanfic. I do like Eliezer a lot, and I like the rationalists a lot. My instinct is towards skepticism first. But yeah, no, I feel better for sure.
All right.
And I'm gonna keep being skeptical because that's what I do. But
so before this, actually, could you move it slightly in?
Mm-hmm.
So before this, you like hadn't had any in-person experience with rationalists or rationalism?
No, yeah, no. I mean, I was living overseas for a lot of the last decade, so I probably could have found like a rationalist meetup. But I'm from about 3 hours north of here, and that's where I've been living for the last few months. And I've thought like, oh, I should head down to the Bay and go to a rat meetup, but no, I haven't done any, which is part of, I guess, my like separation from everything is I haven't had a chance to just be in person with, yeah.
Have you interacted online a bunch? Like you said, you were on Less Wrong?
No, yeah, I mean, I have a Less Wrong account, and I've been reading, but I don't really engage. Now I want to more. Like, this place is, so creator friendly, and you can see, I guess like, I don't know if you'd mind me shouting him out, but like Gwern is here, and you see Gwern, and you see the aura he has because of his writing here. Yeah. It's really funny. I'm noticing here, status is conferred through things that are not normal. So like being really quick at a card game, high status. Being a fast typer, very high status. Okay. And so I'm like, oh shit, I gotta play a whole different game here.
Right.
Not what I'm used to, yeah.
Cool. Writing extremely like in-depth, interesting articles once a month on some niche topic.
Yes. Yeah. I wish I had known about Inkhaven when they did the first couple. I will likely apply to one of those down the road because I am a perfectionist. I have a lot of trouble following through on writing. So that if you don't know Inkhaven, once a day you have to write 500 words. I think it is. Yeah.
I was in the first Inkhaven.
Yes. Yeah. Not you don't know. If anybody watching doesn't know. Yeah. That would be really good for me. I think. Cool. To have to do that. It's a lot of writing.
Yeah.
In a month.
Yeah. It really adds up. All right, I want to jump into this video essay. First of all, this was a really good video essay. Have you done video essays before?
Thank you. No, I've watched a ton. I've written a handful and been like, I got to do this. And, part of it is I also have been pursuing data science the last 3 years. So I was an English lit teacher overseas for a long time, switched to data science. That really took up a lot of my time. Obviously, it's like, there's a lot to learn. And then I was just working, a corporate job. I was working in finance last year in North Carolina, working for an AI startup now. So I always found something else that was keeping me busy or an excuse to not follow through, record, and edit. And took me 9 days of being here to record and edit.
Was this entirely just like learned knowledge through watching? Did you watch a video on how to make video essays or read something? Because it has amazing just smash cuts just at the right place to be hilarious. It's got the little videos and other pop-ups that jump in. There was a number of times where there was backing music and sometimes there's not backing music. And how do you know when to use backing music?
Well, part of it is this place. So this, I mean, it was very unreal. I'm like, now I've adjusted, which is weird, but two of my favorite YouTubers / podcasters are here and have been the whole month. That's Dreg and Archad. Who do the Horseshoe Theory podcast, which is great. Highly recommend. And I literally was starting to record up here in this room, and I was having not a breakdown, but I was stressed, and I was like, oh, I can't do it. And I just went down to Chad Brogan, and I was like, I just dumped on him. I was like, this is everything. And he was like, it's fine, you got it. So that was part of it, is just having these people around. CJ the X was here for a few days, who is, I think, just a brilliant, the best video essayist possibly. And so they helped me. They very directly talked to me about jump cuts and the practicalities of it. But I've watched a stupid amount of video essays. It's my favorite YouTube medium. So yeah, I don't know. Part of it was just that. But thank you. I've watched it in the edit. I watched it so many times that it's lost all meaning to me. It's we call that semantic satiation. It's just nothing to me now.
Okay.
I don't know if it's good, but the feedback I got was very nice, and you've been very nice, so thank you.
It's a really good video essay. I would have thought that you'd been doing these for quite a while.
I appreciate it. Well, this also helps. Having the professional setup is nice. So
yeah,
I got to bust out a couple more while I'm here because I got to take advantage of this space.
Yeah. All right, so first thing I want to do is fight with you, because one of the things rationalists do most is disagree with other rationalists.
Perfect.
You listed some good reasons to dislike HPMOR. One of them was that you said you might be don't read it in your teens. The story is not for you yet. What's up with that? I've heard a 7-year-old read this, which in my opinion is too young.
Whoa.
That is actually probably too young.
Okay.
But apparently the 7-year-old got a lot out of it. But I've known a lot of people, like even on a personal level, I've met people who read it in their early teens, and it was great for them. Certainly by your late teens, you should be fine with it. Why is it not for you yet if you're in your teens?
Yeah, this has definitely been the most controversial statement I made, which I probably should have anticipated. I talked to a couple people before it was edited, and I almost took it out. It's less, I mean, okay, I do think I established that rationalist ideas are difficult and can be dangerous, right? So many people get into thinking about thinking, and they don't have the tools or the like world weariness and humility to apply that properly. And I would argue nobody actually does. We're just doing our best, which is kind of the whole point of rationality. So it's a very seductive story. Like, it's so good. And these like intellectual ideas are snuck in there, which is brilliantly done. That's a little dangerous. Also, if maybe a better answer is, I have a lot of respect for like very Campbellian. I love like Hero with a Thousand Faces, the hero's journey. So you should get that first. I think we need that in lieu of traditional organized religion. You need something that is very stable and straightforward, I think. And for me, it's always been the hero's journey. All my favorite stories are hero's journeys, and I do think the original Harry Potter books have a lot to offer in that way. So I don't know. Like, the fact that you say a 7-year-old maybe is too young, there is a cutoff.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. And there's a lot of brilliant teenagers that can that I've taught who could probably handle it. But, like, I don't know. Maybe wait till your early 20s. I don't feel that strong. Like, dude.
Maybe you just don't have enough context in life yet. I've heard a lot of people lately saying that, like, they've come back to read some of the classics. I don't know, Borges, or I don't remember who they even mentioned, but it was like some writers where they're like, yeah, I read it in high school and college, and I felt like I was being deep, man. And now I go back and read it, I'm like, oh, now I actually get it. And maybe there's that.
Yeah, in the sense that, I don't know, there's like a lot of like Breaking Bad or Fight Club. There's a lot of like young dudes who come away from those being like, that's so sick, he's so awesome. I'm like, no. That's what I'd be worried about with HPMOR is Potter Evans Varys is like,
he's so fucking awesome.
He's awesome. He is awesome. He's great. But like, we have to know. And I would make the gentle case that Eliezer doesn't quite make him the fool often enough. He should trip over his own arrogance a little more than he does. And like, by the end of the story, you should get it. I think a 17-year-old might just miss it. Yeah. So. Yeah. But that's, I mean, stories are imperfect vessels for ideas, right? You get what people get different things out of them. So I don't know. I
think more than just a 17-year-old. Like, for the longest time, I didn't know how to summarize Harry Potter to other people. Like, literally for 10 years, I couldn't quite figure out what it was about it that I loved so much. And then I read an essay saying that this is basically a complete psychopath and Dumbledore fighting for Harry's soul, and that is the essence of the book. His soul is under siege by these two people, and he loves them both, and for different reasons, and that's why he's torn between both. And they like keep winning battles in other ways to pull him one way and then pull the other. And I didn't like, I got that on a subconscious level. That's like why I loved it, but I couldn't put it into words.
Yeah, I like that. I think Eliezer does it for a reason, but Dumbledore's just disrespected throughout the story and is like a holy character to some degree. And I literally wrote an essay in college, my undergrad, called, and this is cringe a little bit, but I put it was an essay called "Harry Potter Was My Bible." Oh. And like, so I was already there, and like Dumbledore.
Do you think he's disrespected in Methods of Rationality?
Well, it's a lot of like he turns out to be right, and he's you know, like pretending to be crazy, but he is crazy, but he isn't crazy, and like that's sort of a joke. But then Harry is disrespectful to him, and it's pointed out like, you don't fear Dumbledore, so you feel okay. So it's a lesson in there. But yeah, like Dumbledore gets some badass moments, but yeah, I think he's not respected consistently as much as Quirrell is. Quirrell gets much more time in the story. I think that's true. and like myth behind him.
Yeah.
But he's also an original character. Essentially, he's not obviously the regular
Yeah.
Professor Quirrell.
Yeah. Also, Quirrell is intentionally trying to like farm that aura, whereas
Yes.
Dumbledore is just like, I felt like he had a bit more nuance. He felt more world weary and more like, I am still shining and good despite having been ground down so much, and this is what a shining good person looks like after going through the decades that he went through.
Yeah, yeah. One of the chapters that rubs me the wrong way a little bit is Pretending to be Wise, where Dumbledore repeatedly like listens to Harry say fake wise things and then is like convinced, and I'm like, all right, either Harry's actually saying something wise or Dumbledore is not falling for this bullshit. That I don't know. Or we can't let Dumbledore fall that much. He's such a I don't know. He's yeah. I'm mixing it up with the original stories, but like you got to be careful how you treat Dumbledore in my world.
Yeah, yeah. All right. You mentioned this just a couple minutes ago about the dangerous ideas. One of the 3 things you said, good reasons to not read this, is that the story Trojan Horses real ideas on how to use your brain and live your life, and that's dangerous. First of all, isn't that what all good fiction is trying to do? Isn't like that the point of good fiction, to like Trojan horse good real ideas about how to be a good person?
Yeah, I mean it almost. I hadn't thought about it this directly, but it's a respect thing because, yes, good stories, stories that survive. Yes, there's real wisdom and real ideas in them, but they are not also functioning as a textbook. Like HPMOR is didactic on purpose, and we have these whole full page stops to talk about historical moments or I don't know, the Stanford prison experiment or the Milgram experiment, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That's more potent. I mean, it's just it's a very potent story. I believe in it in that way. That's why I keep listening to it. And
why is that a bad thing?
It's not. You just have to be careful. You know, anything that's giving you a lot of ideas, like you should be careful you're not digging too deep. I don't know. Is that?
I mean, I sort of appreciate the word of caution, but I also feel like that's infantilizing the reader. Like we're all adults here.
Yeah, to me, it's just a truism that you should be careful with, like, I don't know, all ideas, but fiction can be, like, I don't know, Ayn Rand or whatever, you know, like fiction can be seductive in a way that nonfiction isn't. Yeah. And so you should be very thoughtful about how you're engaging with it. I don't know. Maybe I don't mean to infantilize. Maybe it's a teacher thing. Maybe I'm just like, oh, I work with teenagers, so I have the authority to say this. I want people to read it, but read carefully. So yeah.
Have you been conditioned as a teacher to be careful, to not over influence students?
Yeah, I think you know, it's like you got to lead them to the thing and then let them experience it. If you and rationalists know this. I think you have to be very careful. If you don't let somebody experience something fully on their own, then they will be suspicious of you, and they will get your ideas rather than their own honest, authentic interpretation. Okay. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's better for having the Trojan horse ideas in there, though, right?
How do you mean?
It would be a lesser work if it didn't have those.
Yeah, well, it'd just be a very different thing. Honestly, an HPMOR that was just like Harry Potter and I don't know, what do you call this story without the educational stuff?
I don't know.
It's Harry Potter and the Artemis Fowl / Ender's Game. I don't know. That would still be an amazing story. Like, that's why it's so incredible, is because he just was messing around, as far as I can tell. Like, come on, Eliezer. He was just playing around. He doesn't even love Harry Potter. He's just messing around, and he makes this, like, absolute banger of a story that each section gets, like, more intense and amazing as it goes along. I think I said in the essay, in the video essay, it's so ambitious to be covering all these bases. It's really incredible.
All right. The last thing that you said, which I found interesting, is that you said, you likened it to the Ayn Rand works in that there is a hero who is genuinely trying to be better than others. And it reminds me of, I recently was reading about in modern, like modernism in general has this thing where it doesn't believe that anyone should seek power, that that's inherently corrupting and evil. The essay made the argument that Tolkien is kind of like the primary like the Shakespeare of our time in capturing the ethos of the era, because like his ultimate good person was someone who had this power thrust upon them and they didn't want it, and then they discarded it as soon as they could, and that is what makes for a hero, a truly heroic person. Like you cannot seek power, whereas in the past there was much more of an idea that like you can seek power to do good and to make the world better, and we just don't believe that anymore. And I want more heroes. I want more examples of what people can be and do and strive for to do good. So I kind of think I disagree with you on this.
Oh man, all right, how much time do you have? My second video is going to be about postmodernism and then whatever comes next, so metamodernism maybe. And this is like the whole thing that I think is very interesting in this is I also want more heroes. Like I'm very, like I said, hero's journey coded. I love that. I want to keep going in that direction. Basically, modernism was, the way I understand it is modernism was very confident actually about like human progress and religion and ideologies and like the exceptional nature of the Superman. And that got us like 2 world wars and a lot of atrocities and colonialism. And so as like a viral response, like a worldwide virus, postmodernism was like, tear all this shit down. Don't trust any of these authority figures. Yeah. And that's been the status quo for decades now. And so the problem is I think that's correct, but you still need to instantiate authority and heroes and take responsibility. We could talk about this for like several hours, but I would just say like watch the next video because yeah, we have to be careful, but you can't not have heroes. You can't not take on responsibility, and it's a massive problem in our modern world. And we're just kind of getting out of that. We're kind of getting on the other side. I would say that like the Trump era has deepened the problem and held us back because of the unique terribleness that is our current administration. Yeah.
I will say, I think one of the things I like about the Bay Area a lot is that there are people feel that way much less here. They're much more along the lines of like, it's good to be successful actually and to strive after things.
Yeah. There's a lot of I'm adjusting to it here actually. I see it specifically here a lot. The fear for me is a belief that like somebody told me that if Sam Altman stopped working for OpenAI, that they would lose like 30% of their power.
Okay.
And I was like,
what does power mean in this case?
Well, I'm paraphrasing, so
but it would be 30% less good, less effective.
Something, yes.
Okay.
And there's like thousands of people that work for OpenAI. So to me that's a crazy statement. But I understand, like, of course there's some people who have disproportional value to everybody else. I think that you have to like kind of believe in a paradox here, which is like the beauty and sacredness of the human individual and like a humility about what everybody is capable of and what you are capable of, while also believing in the hero mythology and applying it to yourself and like doing your best to go slay the dragon every day. So sometimes I'm a little befuddled by people being a little bit too excited about these certain individuals who are incredible and amazing, and then at the same time I'm like, but you should also try to be that. So we've talked about status here, and I agree with, if you're ignoring that status exists, you're being kind of you're being a little silly. You're being naively optimistic. But if you get obsessed with it, obviously that's a problem too. So I don't know. It's all, you have to kind of believe in both things, and I do like the Bay Area's belief in that. But of course, like, there's some people who are applying those principles in the Bay Area who work for certain AI companies that we should be like very skeptical of. So I think we're both right.
Okay.
Yeah, if that makes sense.
Yeah. All right. So then the video kind of veers away from HPMOR directly and goes into sort of the whole background of rationality. Not a full background of rationality. Let's see. I would say not a background, small bit background, but also large bit like snapshot of kind of like where it is now. Some background, some snapshot. So I personally like this piece because this part of the video, because a lot of people nowadays at this point, when I was making the podcast like 10, 12 years ago, no one had heard of Rationality. This was a thing I was doing for my friends, you know?
Right.
And now like it's actually on the global stage a bit. Like people write about it in the New York Times.
Right.
Which is a little worrisome, but whatever. But now that people do know about Rationality, I think some people coming into this are going to know. And it's probably good to address that, to like you hit some of the hit pieces that have been written. You linked to the walled surveilled compound piece, which was fantastic. And I kind of like that because my parents at some point, despite the fact that I've been in Rationality since 2007, like before it even had a name, I think, my parents just earlier this year, or maybe late last year, asked me, so are you in a cult? Because we've been hearing things. And I'm like, guys, I've been trying to talk to you about this for 10 years. It took the New York Times to bring this to your attention. And I was like, I walked them through the thing. But like, you addressed, like, you hit several of the things, the big things that people will hear if they've not heard anything else about rationalism. And I think that was useful. But like, why did you do that in the video?
I actually don't think I did a very good job. It probably deserved more time. I just was like, I need to keep this video short. I mean, the history of it is fascinating, and now that I'm here, I can see the aliveness of it. I hadn't thought about it so explicitly as this living, breathing thing that I think is going to keep growing and maybe against the people here's will in some sense. Like, I think they want to spread the ideas, but this is still small and like a special sub niche community, and yeah, it might just become a mainstream thing. Well, mainstream is a strong word, but like it might grow to a point that people are uncomfortable. I don't know. I wish I had more time to really break down the history. I talk about the Zizians, and like that's, if you looked at the entire history of the Rationality community, that should be like a little blip.
Yeah.
It's just very interesting, and it points to this idea that you should be wary or careful with this group. But I don't think that Eliezer had anything to do with that. I don't think that this community like earned that in any specific way. It's just like, ideas are powerful. And I think I say something like, if you believe in things, you're going to attract people who really want to believe in things. And that, this is the postmodernism thing again. Like, we're very skeptical now of people who are believing too strongly, and we should be, because you get communist revolution and you like start killing intellectuals and stuff. Yeah. So,
did you get like pushback on this part of the video? Was this like controversial?
I think no. I talked to a couple people and they focused on other things. The only part was that I make a joke about the rationalist community being horny. And I
have that in my note here.
Yeah. I was told to cut that out by a couple people. Not told to. It was like, I don't know if that's fair. Yeah.
I don't think it. Well, I don't know. Keep going.
Well, I put a little thing after the joke and was like, this podcast or this video, this YouTube channel is pro horny, and like, I'm finding that very interesting because I'm sorry, it obviously is, famously and obviously is, in like a way that is beautiful. And I actually think I can trace the line of rationality to horny. And I'm using horny, like, obviously I'm talking about like maybe like openness to sexuality and like being pro-sexual and like willing to talk about it. I don't mean...
Well, I think that's just straightforwardly good, and all places should be like that.
Yes, but I think that rationality as a mode of thinking is going to lead you away from a lot of the kind of outdated views that keep people repressing their sexuality. So it's a natural, I think that's just what happens. I grew up very like hippie vagabond Northern California. So I'm not like nervous about any of this stuff.
You're no stranger to horniness.
And just like, my mom was like handing me an illustrated, like Kama Sutra when I was like 11 or 10 or something.
Wow.
And my dad used to like give me, he used to like subscribe to Playboy and then like put them underneath the door to my bed. I think he was like trying to make sure that I like grew into a man or something. I was like,
Okay.
I don't think you need to do this.
I was told that touching myself was a sin and would make God, not give me an afterlife.
Yeah, I think that's pretty common here, which is funny. I don't have anything to fight against in like the war of sexuality.
Yeah.
But I respect that this place has built a culture around it. But I can't not mention it. It's just, it's both funny and interesting and like going to surprise people if they start digging into rationality. So,
Okay.
yeah, I don't know. I almost cut it out. I don't know.
I guess probably good to say if it's going to surprise people. I still don't think it's not a central thing. It's just kind of a background fact. That makes
It's a loud background fact, but
Okay.
I agree that it has nothing to do with the ideas really, except for that natural progression of how you get there. I think it's a good way to get there. I think more people should be there.
Do you think
But
people
like the ideas, you should be careful. Sexuality is something you got to be careful with too. You know, it's not. I don't know.
Do you think that people are actually more horny or just not as repressed?
Yeah, not as repressed. You move past, like a lot of. Read something one time that liberal, like progressive ideas increase directly as you decrease like viral infections and diseases. So just societies become more open as the danger
Right.
goes away, and that that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
So we live in a society that could afford more sexual promiscuity. We tried in like the 70s, and then I don't know what happened, but we've gone. Gen Z is like more repressed than millennials were, and I don't know why exactly, but there's plenty of reasons to be more open with your sexuality. So
Okay.
yeah, I hope none of my students watch this.
I'll email it to them directly. All right, so you go through like, here's the things you've heard about rationality and like the cults and the Zizians and stuff. And then like you talked about all the great things about rats, which just made me really happy and
good.
warm feeling inside. I think you said the rationalist community stands for things. It's okay to say things and believe them sometimes, which was great.
Good.
How long have you been like, I don't know, you keep saying you're not a rationalist, but it sounds like you've got a lot of love for it.
Yeah, no, I do. I think, again, this next video, I'm going to talk about postmodernism. My fight, my kind of whole life is, I didn't grow up religious. I was very atheist, like kind of new atheist, like Richard Dawkins, like these people are ruining the world kind of thing. And then I kind of came around, you face adulthood and like the abyss of your whole life in front of you. And it makes you a little more humble. And so I was like, oh, I see why people might want to believe in something. So yeah, you need to believe in things. It's, David Foster Wallace said something like, it turns out that in the day-to-day trenches of adult life, there's no such thing as not believing, and or not worshiping, sorry. And if you don't worship a traditional religion, you're going to worship money or beauty or, sex or something. And so
a political movement.
Yeah, exactly. And you need to pick something better. So for me, it's become a search for meaning and purpose, and that to me is fighting against postmodernism, which I think is wiping that away and making people very cynical and ironic and detached, losing community, losing faith. So that's what I'm looking for. And so, yeah, that's probably part of why I like the Rationality movement. You got to find people who believe in things, and then be very careful about them.
And you think you feel more aligned with the Rationality movement in what they believe in than anyone else?
Yeah, almost by default. Like I don't. There's not a lot of current, like certainly not political movements that I'm psyched about.
Yeah.
Philosophical movements. I don't know. Kind of the whole thing is right on the internet. Like everything's falling apart. There's no other communities that are doing. I mean, there's some, but it's hard to find. It's hard to find in general. Part of the rationalist belief in doing better, that you could do better, is allowing them to be what they are and like have this amazing space and keep growing. So yeah, I do really like that. I don't know who else would be in competition though? There's not a lot out there for me. And I guess I could go be a Buddhist or something, but yeah, I don't. There's
I recommend against it.
okay. This is what I got for now.
Okay. You then go on to say like just wonderful things about methods of rationality. I loved it. It was the nostalgia trip where like you see all the things. You're like, oh, I recognize that. I recognize that. Like this is gonna be great. I guess the thing I'm wondering about is when you first read Methods of Rationality, you did not have any of this background about rationality, rationalism, whatever. You went in cold, and you are recommending people this piece, but bringing this like background knowledge in with them. How would that have affected your reading, do you think, if you had known this beforehand?
Ooh. It's hard to say. I mean, I think like a lot of people who are going to find Methods of Rationality already had read about some of these basic psychological experiments, or not basic, but famous. So some of it, and they've heard of certain biases and things. So I was like, it was a perfect level for me where I was like, oh yeah, I kind of know what's going on here. And then something new would pop up, or just the fact that it's a story allows ideas to seep deeper into you. Then, like reading the sequences, which are incredible. Sometimes it doesn't land as directly because you don't have, I don't know. I'm a big believer in the power of fiction. I don't know if that's a good answer, but that's why it worked for me. I don't know if I had more context, I'd still just be a massive Harry Potter fan. So I was gonna love it no matter what. Yeah.
Do you, why did you put it in then?
What's that?
The background to the rationality, like, do you think it was important for people who get into it now to have that background? Or is it just something you wanted to talk about?
Yeah, that I did think about that because everything that I say recommending the story could be thought of as like a spoiler alert. And I hate when people, I don't even want, like, if it's a friend who I kind of know the way they think, I'm like, don't even tell me you liked it. I don't want to know the movie that you. I don't want you to say anything because it will affect every second of me watching or consuming the thing afterwards.
Wow.
So this is. I mean, I put this in the video too. Like maybe you do your best and then it turns out to be a net negative. I don't know. I think I said, if you're convinced, please skip to part 5. So that was my only attempt at like. Just hear about the good stuff and ignore. You don't need all this other context, but yeah, I felt very interested in all of these things, and I felt like it was one video.
Did you feel like you would have been possibly harming people to not give this sort of a?
No.
Okay.
No.
It almost felt like a, hey, don't tell me that I didn't warn you if this comes up later.
Sure. I mean, there's a couple little things like that. Like, I've heard several people online say that Eliezer mentions the R word. I don't know what we're allowed to say or not.
Yeah.
And
really early on, like within, I think, chapter 7.
Yeah, and that turns people off. And I'm just like, okay, trigger warning. It's not really part of the story, and it's very much serving a concrete purpose that you can tell in the moment is doing what it's supposed to do. So I don't know why it bothers people so much. But, but
I do think it makes for a good filter. Like
I guess so. Yeah.
I absolutely, like, when I read that, like, I felt like an emotional, I don't know, it was bad. Like, it was like, Urgh!
Yeah.
But I loved it enough. I kept going.
Right. Yeah, it was like, oh, this is a fan fiction. That's a choice. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
But I see why Eliezer did it. Yeah, you could argue in a perfect world he puts it back in like chapter 30 or something, but
I don't know. I think better to weed out the people up front.
Maybe. I don't want to weed people. I want them all to read it. Everybody should read this freaking fan fiction.
You say that, but also you said in the video it's not for everyone.
All right. Well, I think I say it's not for everyone and that's okay. And then in subtitles I put it's not. So, I mean, I wish it was, but also, people are different and that's great.
Yeah.
But they should still read the freaking book. Yeah.
I've come much more around to actually it's everything is not for everyone and that actually is okay.
I am told repeatedly that I need to do better with that, but I just
Mhm.
love the things I love so much, and one of my family like hates me recommending anything now. They're like, please stop, because I'm like, you're gonna love it, and then I end up like bear hugging them with this story, and they're like, it's good. I'm like, no, it's not good. It's amazing.
Okay.
So it's a real problem of mine. Yeah.
I'm much more along the lines of like, I love it, this is great, and then like scatter it everywhere, and then the people who also have been great, like pull them in.
That's probably healthier. Yeah. This is an issue for me. I'm just excited.
You end it with that this is for you if you believe that thinking clearly is noble, beautiful, and meaningful. And that was great. That was such a good line. It
Thank
really
you.
made me feel good.
Thank you. You saying it makes it feel really good for me too. Yeah. No, yeah.
Cool.
Unfortunately, and I hate to mention our president again, but that's like a rare thing right now. I feel like we're sliding very rapidly into an idiocracy. So to find any story that believes in thinking as literally the most powerful thing in the universe is like...
I really admire the dedication to truth, both in the community and in the book, where it seems more and more people don't necessarily care if things are true in so much as they care whether they're useful. Yeah. Like, if this is useful for my cause or whatever it is, then I'm going to say it, or I'm going to believe it or spread it. And whether it's actually true doesn't matter. And I think that's a really big deal for me. I want things to be true.
Absolutely.
I want to believe things that are true, I guess, and not say things that aren't true, no matter how supposedly they would help things.
Yeah. Funny that same chapter, Pretending to be Wise, I think it is, and Harry says, Dumbledore's confused about Ravenclaws, and he says something like, to seek truth your whole life is also noble and beautiful. I'm paraphrasing, but something like that. Like, yeah, that's it. That's wildly important. And so, in the sense that before I knew about rationality, my kind of de facto religion was education, and I just had dedicated myself to teaching. Rationality is part of that now for me.
It's awesome. You're going to try to teach kids about rationality in the future?
I was almost courageous enough in my last school to just straight up assign HPMOR as required reading.
Oh, hell yeah.
But I guess my nervousness about, giving it to teenagers won out or something. Or I was worried about the principal getting pissed off at me. You're supposed to give them very literary things. So
it's literary.
I know. Just because it's a fan fiction doesn't mean it's not literary.
Right? A lot of the best literary things are fanfics of like the Bible or the Odyssey or something.
Yeah.
All right. I think we should wrap it up. I did catch a few notes of Catch That Goblin at one of the headings, which was great. I was like, yeah, that's awesome. It's in there.
Had to throw that in there. I almost did it for every chapter section, but I don't know. Seinfeld got in there at some point, and I was like, all right, everyone's different.
Yeah.
No, I love that. I mean, I'm not kidding. I've listened to the HPMOR podcast like 5 or 6 times, and it's 122 chapters, and those chapters are divided. So do you know how many episodes there are?
I think it's 140, roughly.
And they're all like half an hour long, right? So I've listened to like 400 plus hours of you. And I've heard that song hundreds of times. So, big fan. This is... I should have said this up front, but like this is such a bizarre full circle moment for me, because you are one of the people I've listened to more than anybody else. So very cool. Thanks for doing this.
Thank you. And thanks for this video.
Yeah.
Do you want to maybe come back after you do your second video, talk about that one?
Absolutely. Yeah. It won't be HPMR related very much, but yeah.
I'm also interested in this whole postmodernism and what we can do about it thing.
Cool. Sounds good.
All right. Well, thank you for joining me.